Hi and welcome to the video. The point of today's video is to take the hobby engine loader onto the next level of development. It's been a while since I've used this thing, and I kind of quite like it, but really there has been one thing that has bugged me since the day that I had it, and that is that the motors for lifting the arm and for the steering, when they reach their end points, you get the horrible clicking as the gear carries on turning around, and the motors don't stop at the end of the travel. So what I've been doing is I've been putting micro switches in at the end points, and by using that in conjunction with a diode, I've been able to get them to stop at the end points. And so in this video today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how I've done this, and I'm actually going to install the last of the 4 micro switches. This is quite a cheap modification to do, and the parts to do it with only cost a couple of pounds each to do. So just to show you what I've achieved so far. So with the steering, previously it clicked, and now what happens, and I'll just hold this down because we haven't got the main cover on. When I do the steering, which is this one, you'll see, and there's the micro switch here. When it reaches the end of the travel, it stops, and even though I'm carrying on trying to make it move, it doesn't. And similarly, when I go the other way, it stops. So the micro switch here, and I'll just show you. So it's moving here, the micro switch stops it, but if I wanted to go the other way, it would let me. And the trick is that each of these micro switches has got a diode which is what lets the electricity flow one direction, soldered across the connections. And so what happens is when the micro switch is open, it's allowing the electricity just to flow as normal. When this gets pushed, it stops the electricity, but the diode which I've put in has been put the way around so that it'll only allow the electricity, if you like, to flow backwards, i.e. in the opposite direction, and so that gives me the endpoints. Similarly, I've put the same kind of arrangement up here on the arm. So if I move the arm down, you can see this, the switch is just opened, and then as I pull it up, the switch brings it to a stop, whereas previously it wouldn't have done. And you can see on here that I've put a diode across. Now the place where I haven't done it yet is on the bottom of the travel for the arm. You can see the micro switches here, but I haven't yet wired it up. And so if I was to lower the arm all the way, it reaches the bottom, and then it clicks, and eventually I think it will probably break the gears. So I'll just move this up out of the way. And you saw it stopped, and we can start doing the job. Just before I get started, you'll see that I've got the wires here ready, and probably the longest part of the job was actually threading the wires through. And if you go through the central part here, because of where the top comes, what it does is it allows this all to be connected up without having to drill holes in the top. For the speed controllers for these 2 motors, and if you look at my previous video, you'll see what I've got is I've kind of got the gubbins of an old servo, and I've unlocked the potentiometer with some heat shrink in the central position, and that's like giving me a two-way speed controller basically for free, because the servos are well past their sell-by date. I would never put them in the model, but they're very useful for this function to give me a very small brushed motor. Right, so the first thing that I need to do is to just move that, is to take off my pre-mounted micro switch. So here we go. Now the way that this works is that so the way this works, and I've got the tester here just to show you, is in the normal position we have contact, and then when the switch is pressed the circuit's broken. Now I don't actually need this central pin here, and it's kind of in my way, so just going to chop that off. And my diode here, what I'm going to do, I don't want it particularly protruding, is I'm wanting to solder it between these two connections. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it, and then bend it again, like so. And I want to solder it in position about there, so I'll just move this back. It's kind of handy having this sort of extra pair of hands that this gives you. Let's get that in there. That's that. That's roughly where I want it. That'll do. Now these arms I'll chop off the excess afterwards, I don't want, but in the first place it acts as quite a useful holder, and once I've got one side on, it'll be held much more rigidly for the other. So just need some tissue for the soldering on. Clean that off. Right, so it doesn't really matter which way around you do this, because at the very end, when you're doing the final bit of wiring, you just put it whichever way around you need it to be. Let's just solder this in place. Don't want too much solder. That's fine. And then bend the other one to where I want it. That's fine there. This will join nicely. And then what I've got to do is these two wires here are the ones which I'm going to solder onto it. Now, move the camera slightly. So, just strip them. That's one. the other one. Tin those 2 wires. That, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to post those through the holes which I made. And there's one of them. I think it might be easier if it's in the right place to use the holder. So that's one wire. Can get fiddly to see what you're doing. One seems to be held there. It's okay. And then the other one. For a second. Need to bend that towards where I want it. That seems to be alright. Yeah, it's all a bit tight in there. Put some more solder on it. Seems to be okay. Then just snip off the excess. It's a bit hot. And hopefully we're good to go. So that is going to go just there. So I'll just get that screwed on. Right, that's all neatly screwed together and we should be ready to go. So let's turn it around the other way. Now, in order for this to work, what you need to do is you need to break the connection between the speed controller and the motor. Now I've already done the other side for here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the wire which I haven't yet chopped, which is this one here. This is where you have to start remembering which wire is which. Oops. That's okay. And I'll tin these 2 wires. And with anything like this, if you kind of do it carefully, slowly, and one wire at a time, and test each thing as you do it, you won't usually go too far wrong. Wire. Pays to keep the soldering iron clean while you're doing everything. So that one tinned. That one. Now the wires coming through from the other side here, what we've got is we've got a red one, which is this one, and look on the other side to check the colour, and a blue one, which is this one. So these two here are the ones which go to the micro switch over there, and basically it's as simple as inserting this into that circuit from the speed controller, which I just broke, and one way it'll work and one way it won't, and you just need to test them just to see which way around it goes. Just tin these wires very quickly, and then we'll be ready to test it. One, the other. Right, just put the soldering iron out of the way. So at the moment, got nothing happening at all. And I'll just hold these wires on in the first place. I should be able to do it. So this way round. Oh, we don't seem to have anything at all. Oh. There we go. We've got movement. Now, what I have found is the easiest way to be able to test it, because you do run out of fingers, is actually to solder it together, and 50% of the time you're going to be right, and 50% of the time you have to resolder it, which isn't a very big job. So in anticipation that I might get it right the first time, putting the heat shrink on. And this may work or it may not, but I'll pretty soon find out, and if it doesn't, I'll just solder the wires all the way around. There's one. There's the other one. Right. Let's see if it works. So we're going down and down and down. No, it's still clicking, and it won't go the other way around. So my gamble this time didn't pay off. Just put that there. So we know which way around to put the wires. So quickly unsolder one. Soldering iron's getting mucky. And unsolder that one, and then resolder this one here. I think I could do some more solder. That one. And there's the other white one. Just bend that in place so it actually stays so I can get to it. Right, let's test that quickly. We're now working in that direction. Just move that out of the way. And it's stopping perfectly. And that's just where I want it. So I think I can be pleased that that's doing exactly what I want it to do. I'll just move that all the way up. Again, it's going to stop. Brilliant. So all that remains to do here is to put the heat shrink on. Keeps the joints strong and it stops things from shorting out. And then tidy the wires up a bit. I think it would be a particularly boring video for you to see me tidying up the wires, but I think that really, you know, finishes off a job like this, and things tend to actually work better for longer if you've got things tied in there. Stops bits of the body catching when you're putting it on, and it can make it easier to repair. Although on the other hand, it can make it more difficult because all the wires will be together. I'll just do a quick tidy up and then I'll return to the video. And here we have it all put back together again. No horrible clicking at either end of the travel. And the steering behaving itself. Hope you found the video enjoyable. I probably ought to do a running video of this, and maybe I'll get around to one of those fairly soon. Thank you for watching.